Good day, Philippines. Good day, Cebu. Welcome to another episode of Hotseat with me, Jacob Unabia. And it is my pleasure to host the show. And, in our show, we have had a bunch of famous personalities who visited our show. But this guest is a class of his own because he started as a member of a very famous musical group. And he found his way serving as the Assistant Secretary of Department of Finance, but now he is currently serving as the Managing Director of Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, and it's a very colorful life. And I'm very interested. I'm quite excited to get to know more about his life. So without further ado, let us introduce our guest for today. Is none other than Mr. Tony Lambino. Sir, ayong gabi po.
Ayong gabi, Ron. Ayo, kaninyong tanan.
Okay po. Sir, kumusta po kayo?
Okay naman. Alam mo naman these days, 'di ba? The work structure has changed, no? So there are many days na nandito ako sa opisina. There are some days na work from home kami, although paunti ng paunti, no? So things are becoming normal more and more. And as the vaccines roll out, and people get vaccinated and protected from the virus, we expect that our economy will also normalize. Okay. But it's not going to be the same economy. This is something that Governor Benjok has said many times. We are rebounding into a new economy. And so, mas digital na tayo ngayon, di ba? Medyo yung iba sa atin noon, ayaw gumamit ng mga digital tools, digital payment. Ngayon, nasubukan at marunong na. So, medyo nagbabago yung structure ng ating economic life.
Malaki po talagang binago ng pandemic. Ako nga dati, hindi nga po ako nag-GCash. Ngayon, napipilitan na po gumamit ng mga online payment. Ano po?
Yes, that's right, Ron. At marami pang ibang options, no? Nandyan yung PayMaya, nandyan yung iba't ibang mga payment services, nandyan yung digital banking options natin, dun sa may mga bank account. Ang dami ng online merchants, di ba? Ang kailangan lang natin isipin siguro, Ron, is to know how to protect ourselves. No? Kasi bago ito for many of us, hindi pa tayo sanay. Huwag tayo magpaloko sa mga scammers. Huwag tayo basta-basta na lang magbibigay ng mga password, ng mga account number. Ingat lang tayo. No? And if you have questions about that, bisita kayo sa BSP website. Kasi dito sa Bangko Sentral, we really promote a safe and efficient payment system. No? Both brick and mortar, yung physical payments, pati yung digital payments.
Opo. Sir, curious po ako, nasa opisina pa po ba kayo?
Nandito pa. Inantay kita para maganda yung connection natin. Medyo stable.
Anong oras po ba nasisimula yung araw nyo?
Ano yun, Ron?
Anong oras po ba nasisimula yung araw nyo? Sa opisina?
Araw? Naku, walang pinipiling oras ang pag-communicate ng financial stability, ng price stability. Alam mo, Ron, kasi yung mission ng Bangko Sentral, tungkol talaga sa predictable prices. No? Gusto natin na yung mga price increase over time kasi hindi naman dapat na stagnant ang mga presyo. For a growing economy, we want prices to have a little bit of adjustment over time, no? A little bit of inflation. Wag lang yung unmanageable. No? So we do want a bit of inflation. Sabi ng Monetary Board tsaka ng economic team ng gobyerno, dapat 2 to 4% over the next couple of years. Okay lang yan. Basta hindi sobra, hindi labis. No? Tsaka kung mayroong mga kailangan na pagtuunan ng pansin ng mga produkto dahil masyadong mabilis ang pagtaas ng presyo, there are many agencies of government that are doing what they can in order to keep that in check. Tulad ng pork, di ba? Ang ginawa nila, may temporary measures on the importation side para dumami yung supply at bumaba yung presyo, no? So there are many things that need to be done, and walang pinipiling oras yan, Ron. Although in terms of being in the office, it ranges, no? Anywhere from 7:30 to 9:30 we're allowed to come into work. Basta mabuo mo yung workday mo and you do all the tasks that need to be done. Siguro basta Ron, sa madaling salita, lagpas-lagpas palagi ang time. And that's the nature of public service, no? Kung ano yung kailangan gawin, gagawin mo talaga. Kasi that's what the people deserve.
Correct. Yes po. Pero sir, backtrack lang po tayo ng konti, no? You were an original member po of Smokey Mountain. Para sa mga millennial po na hindi po hindi po familiar sa grupo niyo. Although ako po, familiar po ako sa grupo niyo.
Kasi magka-batch tayo.
No, hindi po. I'm 26 years old pero
Hindi
I'm
pala
an old soul.
kalahati.
Old soul po kasi ako. In fact,
We are 2 decades apart pala, Ron.
Oh, correct po. Pero may song po ako na nasa cellphone ko po ngayon na nakasave ng Smokey Mountain. Yung kailan po.
Which one? The original version from 1989?
Yes, nasa
Wow.
Spotify po.
Uy, salamat at pinapakinggan mo pa yun. Ako yung nagba-backup kay Geneva Cruz. Kasama ko sa backup si Jeff tsaka si James.
Oo. Yes, sir. Sir, how did you end up po becoming a member of Smokey Mountain po? Can you please take us back?
Matagal na kwento yan. Pero subukan kong iksian ng konti. When I was in grade school, sa Ateneo grade school, I was in the boys choir. Yung teacher namin, naging estudyante ni Ryan Kebiab sa UP School of Music at sa Abelardo. So, nung nagkaroon ng audition para sa isang summer scholarship, sabi niya, why don't you try? So, I did. I only knew how to sing one song at the time, na solo. Kasi sa boys choir, alam mo naman, second voice, tsaka mga, I guess, songs for liturgical celebrations, at tsaka mga special events sa school. No? So, I never really learned how to sing a whole song na ako lang mag-isa. Hindi ako yung natuto na maging soloista. No? I really learned to be a choir member. But there was one song I knew how to sing from beginning to end, no? Rainbow Connection. Yan yung alam ko. So yun yung tinang-audition ko. Laking gulat ko, Ron, that despite being amongst all these young divas, no? Talaga marunong bumirip. Ako kasi simple lang yung ginawa kong rendition. Na-call back ako for a second audition. And the funny thing is, dahil yun lang yung alam kong kanta, yun yung inulit ko. Or inulit ko siya. Everybody else sang a second song, no? Different contest piece na ginamit nila sa kanilang mga I guess competitions in their schools or their communities. So siguro na-intrigue sila bakit isa lang yung alam nitong kanta, turuan pa natin ng more songs. So napasok ako dun sa scholarship. But seriously speaking, I was really happy to be part of that group. I learned so much the summer of 1988 with Jeffrey Hidalgo, Tenten Munoz, who passed very early in life, and one of the saddest things that we experienced as teenagers. But there were 14 of us, Ron, and after that summer scholarship, we had a recital, and columnist for the Inquirer named Chick Fortich, who also passed away a few years ago, did us a really big favor. She named the group. Kasi 14 kami, sabi niya, hindi pa sila 24 karat. Pero 14K sila. They are worth 14 carats and can be polished and become, I guess, professionals. Yun yung point. So that's when 14K was I guess launched in a sense during that recital and after we were named. So I was with that group for a few months, and then now national artist Ryan Kebiab, our musical director then, said this is not really the group yet that we envisioned, because he was working with a partner, an American philanthropist named Judd Berlin. So they held another set of auditions. 4 of us from 14K auditioned, were invited to try out, and then another 180 kids, no, more or less, auditioned, and they chose 4 from that other batch. So naging 8 kami, the trainees, and it was around the time that Ryan Kebiab was experimenting with a new sound that he called brown music. No, brown kasi music. Kayong manggi tayo di ba? So brown music. And it was that sound of bringing together pop music, Western instruments, and our indigenous musical instruments, no, from different regions of the Philippines.
Okay.
Parang world music medyo yung tunog, pero mas nakabaling sa pop. And so our arrangements in the first album of Smokey Mountain, except for Kailan and Can This Be Love, no, and some others, you'll hear in the instrumentation, in the arrangement, mga indigenous sounds, no, galing sa iba't ibang rehiyon ng Pilipinas. And so that group, the 8 of us trainees, learned a new set of songs that Ryan Kebiab had written, and then 4 of us were chosen from the 8. At the end, Geneva Cruz, Jeffrey Hidalgo, James Coronel, and yours truly. And we were launched as Smokey Mountain. We recorded the songs that were written for the group, and that was the first album. In a few months, hindi namin alam kung ano nangyari, sa totoo lang. Kasi nung una, Ron, ayaw tugtugin yung mga kanta namin.
Oh, okay.
Kasi the first song that we released from the first album was entitled Not All the World is America. And it's not against America. It's against the mentality na wala ka ng ibang ambisyon sa buhay kundi tumungtong sa Amerika, basically. Okay. But not all the world is America. The world is where you are. Yun yung lyrics ng song. Okay. Including here at home, no, in the Philippines. And so the radio stations found it a little heavy, I think, no? So hindi siya natugtog masyado, no? Mga 3 a.m. minsan naririnig namin. I was 13 years old at the time, no? So bihira akong gising hanggang ganung oras. But we noticed na wala masyadong uptick doon sa mga message songs. So our recording company at the time, Wea, no? Records, Warner Electra Arista. They said, let's release the love song. And so they released Kailan as the second single. Okay. And Kailan was #1. We didn't know what hit us. It was #1 on the radio nung nakikinig pa tayo lahat sa radyo noon, Ron. FM radio. Wala pang Spotify, wala pang Apple Music, wala pa tong mga digital tools. Di pa nga uso yung email at the time. So anyway, we were #1 for 8 weeks straight. Yung nilalangaw naming mga mall concert, mga mall tour, pang-promote ng album, nung una, biglang dinudumog na kami, Ron. No? So talagang, we were so young, we had no idea what was happening. Parang, ano to? Di ba? Pero, because we were so young, feeling ko, hindi rin kami nagkasungay masyado, no, from the experience. We just loved what we were doing. We enjoyed performing. We loved the music. We loved learning from the best. Ron, isipin mo, our musical director was Ryan Kebiab. Our choreographer was Douglas Nieras. The artist who designed our costumes, Badong Bernal, no? Yung yung photography namin, Neil Oshima, no, for the album. I mean, these are the best artists in the country. Yung sessionista namin sa recording, yung mga pinakamagagaling din, nakilala ni Mr. C. So heaven siya, diba? Kung isipin mo, for young people who were trying to learn. And I think we did learn quite a lot. Minsan, pasaway kami, syempre, mga bata pa. Pero overall, mabait naman yung group. Okay.
Sir, ilang years po ba kayo naging member ng Smokey Mountain? At nag-solo po ba kayo?
Oo. I tried. No? For Smokey Mountain, it was 1 year of training, and then we released our album. And then we stayed for around a year, no? 1989 to 1990. 3 of us, no? Ako, si Jeffrey, si Geneva. And then we moved on to other things. No? Ron, what happened was, after around a year or maybe a little less than a year of performing, and yung album namin, Ron, nagulat kami. Naging gold record bigla, naging platinum, tapos double platinum. No? Bilis. Ang bilis talaga na hindi talaga namin alam bakit ganito yung nangyayari sa amin. Years and years and years of painstaking work on the part of other artists, no, in the industry. Hindi sila sineswerte ng ganon. So we really felt blessed. We felt very lucky. At the same time, we were working with some of the best artists also. So but still, a hit song, a hit album, you can't really completely plan for that. So,
Correct.
may swerte rin talaga. Anyway, so 1 year before the first year ended, we went on a tour. We went to New York to perform for the World Summit for Children at the United Nations. We went and performed for a TV show in Amsterdam, and we went to visit our mother label, Warner USA. I think Warner Electra Arista at the time. It was still way yan. Hindi pa naghihiwalay yung tatlo. And they offered us a contract, a 2-year contract. First year in I think it was Europe. We were supposed to be based in Amsterdam to record an album for the European market, and the second year to be based in Los Angeles to record an album for the US market. Ganda ng offer. Sorry, it was Warner Basart, part of the Wea family at the time, that offered that contract. However, we needed to stop formal schooling. We would have to be homeschooled. Kasi yung ganong klaseng buhay, yung full-time ka na nagre-record, nagpro-promote, etc. I guess they knew that being in regular school environment, talagang marami kang absent. Ano. So I talked about it with my parents. I thanked them for the advice and the guidance. Because at the time, sabi nila, masyado ka mang bata. I was 13 years old. Sabi nila, baka kung ano mangyari sa'yo kung you don't stay in an environment which is, I guess, one where you'll have a lot of peers, where you'll grow up developing intellectually, physically, emotionally, psychologically with other classmates. No? So, na marami kayo. So, I decided at the time, and my parents, as of course, my legal guardians, no? Or my parents, for not just legal guardians, but they had, of course, the legal right. We all agreed it was time to resign from the group, and then focus on doing well in school. Kasi, alam mo Ron, from the time I started singing, yun yung agreement. No? I had to stay in the honor roll. I had to do well in school, or else I'd have to stop singing.
Parang kailangan i-balance. Parang kailangan i-balance. Parang kinailangan yung i-balance yung academics at yung extracurricular, which is singing.
So I was grateful, and until now, I'm grateful to my parents for insisting na ganun yung arrangement. But during the time in school, I did a musical with Tanghalang Pilipino. It was I think the anniversary, 100th year anniversary of the writing of the El Filibusterismo.
Okay.
So I was Isagani, in that musical production. Also the music by Ryan Kevia. I did theater in school. I recorded a solo album, which had harana in it. No? But that's the version na hindi masyadong kilala. Yung kilala talaga yung sa parokya ni Edgar, which they recorded a few years later. What else? I had a few songs that I wrote in my own album. I was into songwriting at the time. I did musicals for other schools as well. Yun. So, basta tinapos ko. No? I finished grade school. I finished high school. I had to do well as agreed with my parents, no? Or else I would have to stop all this extracurricular stuff. Okay. Tsaka gusto ko rin naman, no, kahit papaano, to do my best to excel. And then, yun, nag-college na ako, Ron.
Sir, was there such a time po na parang nanghinayang po kayo na hindi nyo ipinursu yung musical career po ninyo? Like, hindi nyo
inisip ko yan. That's a very insightful question. Kasi I've grappled with that question, not with the answer. Because the answer has always been, I don't regret it. Meron akong mga, minsan daydream, no? Ano kaya kung?
Yes, what if? Okay.
What if? Kung tumira kami sa Amsterdam ng isang taon, baka naging hit kami sa Europe, ewan, si Freddie Aguilar pa lang talaga yung naging super hit na Pinoy, di ba, sa Europe.
Correct.
Yung Anak, yung kanta niya na Anak, talagang number 1 yan in Europe. Sa US, mga Phil-Amps pa lang yung talagang nag-hit, di ba? Wala pang pure Filipino group or individual for that matter na naging superstar. Well, pop music. I mean, on Broadway, you have Lea Salonga and all of the Filipinos, no, who became very what do you call this? A senior, no, in the Broadway circuit. No? Talagang tumagal sila doon at napakagaling, napaka-world class ng kanilang talent. But what if, no? You're right. And the answer has always been, no, I don't regret it. I'm grateful for all the opportunities that came after. Kasi Ron, alam mo, after that, I was in college. I still did a little bit of theater, but I focused on my studies na more. Because I knew that I wanted to study more after college. So after I graduated, my first jobs were teaching English literature and communication research in Ateneo. I was invited to teach. I was very happy doing that job. Teaching is, I guess, the most fulfilling job that I've experienced in my not so long career. I worked as a news anchor for Alas 5:30 weekends news program, but I was doing the hard news, both the local and international. I was a news writer. I wrote some of my stories. And then I worked for the government, for the Office of the President. I was recruited by then Executive Secretary Rene de Villa, whose presidential campaign I worked for back in 97, 98. So I was able to experience all of these things, although not very deeply yet. Kasi umpisa pa lang ng career yan.
Correct.
After around 2 or 3 years of working, I applied for a scholarship and was blessed to receive a Fulbright scholarship. And then I moved to the US. Kala ko 2 years lang eh. Talagang pinagpala, Ron, no, I was accepted at Harvard University as a student in the Masters in Public Policy program at the Kennedy School of Government. So I was there for 2 years. I did my Masters. And then I applied for more studies. So I was able to receive a scholarship from the Annenberg School for Communication at the University of Pennsylvania. I was doing my PhD there, but I ended just finishing the Masters. No? Okay. Kasi I was recruited naman to the World Bank. No? I worked in Washington, D.C. for around 6.5 years, working on global policy issues, on poverty reduction, the communication aspects of accountability, transparency, and citizen participation. I was working in Africa, Eastern Europe, and Asia. No? So talagang I'm so thankful for all of those experiences. However, yung bottom line niyan, Ron, I always wanted to come home.
Correct.
So my wife and I got married while I was working. I was a graduate student. Our daughter was born while we were living in Philadelphia. And then we moved to Washington, D.C. For work. Was able to travel to so many places where poverty is sadly so intense.
Okay.
The experience of poverty is still so intense. And then the plan was always to come home. No? So after 11 years abroad, umuwi kami. I joined the International Rice Research Institute, IRI, sa Los Baños.
Okay.
After that, was recruited to join the public sector to start a public policy think tank within Ayala Corporation. And then was then invited to join Secretary Sonny Dominguez in his team at the Department of Finance. So I was an assistant secretary there with the tax reform team. And then that brings me to where I am now. From DOF, I was granted a transfer to the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, now working under Governor Benjo.
Kailan po kayo lumipat, sir?
December 2020. So it's been 6 months and a few days.
6 months and a few days. Okay, sir. Sir, where does this diligence come from po?
I'm not that diligent, Ron, ha? I mean, some days talaga tinatamad na rin ka. Tinatamad rin ako.
Yung teenage years niya?
Again.
na-enjoy niyo po ba yung teenage years niyo po ninyo?
Yung alin? Teenage years?
Teenage
Yes. Definitely. I experienced what I think most teenagers experience. Your first acne. Ano pa ba? Bakit hindi ako pumatangkad? Kasi hindi ako masyadong matangkad ron. Nung umpisa, matangkad ako. Nung grade 7, matangkad ako. Nasa dulo ako ng line. By the middle of high school, nasa bandang harap na ako. So, bakit hindi ako tumatangkad? Yung mga ganong klaseng insecurities. Falling in love, having a broken heart. All of that stuff. No? Normal teenager stuff. Listening to a lot of music, staying up too late. For me, especially writing music, no, talagang nagpupuyat ako noon while I was writing music. I enjoyed it so much and I was captured by the experience so much. Yun, mga ganon. So yes, I enjoyed my teenage years. I look back and I don't feel like I missed out. I feel like I had a very rich experience with my friends, with my classmates, as well as with the extracurricular activities.
Okay, sir. Now, sir, these following questions po, rapid fire po to.
Naku, mahaba pa naman ako sumagot ron. Napansin mo na.
I need you to answer po at the top of your mind po.
Okay.
Kung maisip nyo agad na answer. Okay?
Sige nga.
Okay, game na po tayo.
We'll try.
Favorite song of Smokey Mountain?
Better World.
Okay. Favorite musical artist? Local po muna.
Local musical artist. Naku, ang hirap. Masyado madami ron.
Okay. Foreign.
Hindi. Sige, local artist, one of them is Joey Ayala.
Okay.
Foreign. Naku, ang hirap. IU.
Oh! Okay.
I love K-pop.
Song that you sing in the shower po.
Wala eh. Kung ano yung narinig ko sa radyo.
Okay.
Or sa Spotify.
What was your most unforgettable live performance po?
United Nations Great Lawn in 1989 or early 1990, around that time, with Smokey Mountain in front of children from all over the world, during the United Nations World Summit for Children.
Okay. Sir, what are your pet peeves po?
Pet peeves. When I sense that someone is giving up.
Okay.
Para sa akin, talagang fight pa rin, no? Go until talagang hindi na kaya. Pero most of the time, I think people are so resilient, and we have skills, and we can ask for help, no, from each other. That very few tasks are truly impossible.
Sir, ito, I'm very interested po, no? Paano po kayo nagre-relax?
Netflix,
okay po. What was the last movie sa Netflix na napanood niyo?
The last movie, hindi movie, series. Tsaka hindi ko pa natapos. Yung second season ng Lupin, tama ba yung pronunciation? Lupin yung spelling.
Lupin, okay, sir. Sir, how does a typical day go for you po? Yung mga
typical day.
Yes po.
You know, what I love about these jobs that I've had and the one that I have now is there's almost no typical day.
Okay.
Siguro there are categories of tasks. Meron kang administrative and managerial role. You have to make sure that your team is doing okay, that projects are running as they're supposed to, on time, on schedule, on budget. There are the documents that you need to review very carefully, especially kung procurement, Ron. Kung nasa gobyerno ka, kailangan basahin mo lahat. No? Huwag kang pipirma na hindi mo binabasa or humihingi ng advice sa abogado or procurement expert. No? So that's one. You want to make sure that the public money that is entrusted to government is spent well for public purposes. Diba? So yun. And then, of course, there are the events that you have to attend or speak at or MC or whatever. Just make sure that those things run well. And then there's the technical work. You bring to the table your skills, no, and your your experience in order to design a program, design a policy, etc. So mga ganon. So halo-halo yan, Ron. On any given day, it's a combination of all of those things.
Okay. Parang hirap maging kayo, sir, no?
Hindi. Hindi. Sunerte lang talaga ako, Ron. I think just the confluence of experiences, and I owe that to so many people. My mom, my dad, and especially my parents, as they say. Joke lang siya. The guidance and the wisdom that have been imparted through the years by so many mentors, I value so much. No? So until today, iniisip ko pag may challenge, of all the bosses and the mentors I've had, I try to ask myself, anong gagawin ni ganito? Anong gagawin ni ganon?
Correct.
How would they handle this? And that's how we pass it on. We share what we've learned from others, from those who have come before, whose shoulders we stand on, or we sort of use as our foundation, and pass it on as much as we can.
Okay. Ako, dami ko natutunan ngayon na. Okay.
Ganun ba?
Okay po, parang na-enlighten po ako, na-inspire po ako sa kwento niya. Okay, sir. Our newspaper po kana celebrating its 10th year anniversary. Pwede po ba mangingi ng message for my co-writers, editors, and staff members of our community newspaper po? Go ahead po.
Yes. What? Could you tell me the full name so that I can
okay, sir.
give the right message?
Kanaas gikan sa amihanan.
Kanaa gikan sa aminahan.
Kanaa, sir. Kanaas.
Kanaa.
Kanaas.
Kanaas gikan sa aminahan.
Amihanan.
Amihanan. Kanaas gikan sa amihanan.
Okay.
Congratulations on a decade of serving your readers. To all the writers and the production people and the administrators and the staff who work on it, congratulations. Please take time to celebrate and renew that spirit of service that will always be obvious, to our audiences and to our readers. To your readers, I hope you continue to support the publication and keep any publication, public official, etc. accountable always. No? If there's something that you like, tell them you like it. If you have the time, whether it's a public office or an agency or a media publication, if there's something that you think is not agreeable to you or you disagree with directly, please let us know also. No, it's the same for public servants and for media. No? Tell us what you think is not right and hold us accountable, because that is, I think, that is what will keep our democracy alive and help us make it more perfect every day, or help us make it less imperfect every day.
Okay. Very touching message po. Thank you po, sir. Sir, before we end this interview po, maglalambing lang po ako. Pwede po bang sample ng kailan?
Kailan? Sabayan mo ako kasi nasa playlist ko, di ba? You start it, tapos tutuloy ko. Sige nga.
Pasok po.
Sabay tayo ron.
Hindi ko po memorya ng lyrics.
Gano'n ba? Sige, kantahin ko yung part na pinakagusto ko.
Okay, sir.
The part of Kailan that I really love starts with the bawat araw sinusundan, di ka naman tumitingin, anong aking dapat gawin? Kailan? Hindi mo ako ibabaka, bro? Kailan mo ba mapapansin ang aking lihim? Kahit anong aking gawin, di mo pinapansin. Kailan hahaplusin ang pusong bitin na bitin? Kahit anong gawing lambing, di mo pa rin pansin.
Alright, thank you, sir.
Geneva, pahiram ha. This is really your solo song.
Walang kupas, sir. Walang kupas, sir.
Salamat.
Tony. Okay. Actually po, last week nanood po ako ng episode nyo dati sa Humalong Dariles.
Matagal na yun.
Opo. Bata-bata.
That's what, 30 years ago? 25 years ago? Medyo ganyan.
Opo.
Thank you na nire-replay pa ng mga
sa YouTube po.
Ganon? Wow. Sige, hanapin ko.
Okay. And on that note, this has been another episode of Hot Seat. I am Ron Jacob Unabia. Thank you for watching and we will see you on our next episode. Sir, Tony, thank you po. Thank you po sa time po.
Ron, thank you. And can I invite everyone to visit the BSP website, no? Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, bsp.gov.ph, yung aming Facebook page. There's going to be a youth summit, no, Ron? Very soon,
Okay.
In early July, I think it's July 9. Already, no, more than 30,000 young Filipinos are scheduled to join us. No, nag-register na sila. So please join us for the youth summit. We'll be talking about the economy of the Philippines, what the prospects are, how we're going to rebound into a new economy, how digitalization will help us build this new economy, and how young Filipinos like yourself, Ron, no? Sorry kanina, nasabi ko batchmate tayo, hindi malayo pala yung edad natin. How young Filipinos can really contribute to the growth of our economy and to poverty reduction in our country.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Makakarating po. Thank you po. Thank you po sa time, Sir Tony. And salamat din po sa staff po na nag-facilitate po ng interview. Okay, sir.
Salamat, Ron. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.